Far down in the blue ocean lived a young mermaid named Marina. She had long yellow hair that shined like the sun and a bright blue tail. Marina lived in a pretty palace made of crystal with her dad, King Neptune, her grandma Coral, and her 5 big sisters. Each sister had a different color tail. Marina's tail was the most beautiful blue in the whole ocean. Every night the family sat around their big white pearl table to eat dinner and tell stories. They drank warm seaweed soup. King Neptune always told his daughters about the most important rule of their underwater home. "My dear daughters," King Neptune said in his big, deep voice, "you must never talk to the people who live above the water. Our voices have special magic. When we sing, anyone who hears us will want to find us forever. The people above and the people below live in different worlds. We must stay apart." Marina always listened, but she really wanted to know about the world above the water. Grandma Coral told her stories about the land people. They have 2 legs instead of tails. They walk around and build big houses on rocks. They ride in wooden boats on top of the water. "But remember, Marina," Grandma Coral said softly, "we must keep our magic voices secret." On Marina's 18th birthday, lots of colorful fish swam around the Crystal Palace in circles. Pretty seahorses played music that sounded like trumpets. Marina's 5 sisters gave her gifts. They gave her shiny shells and white pearl necklaces. King Neptune gave Marina a special crown made of red coral with little starfish on it. "Marina," he said with a big smile, "you are now old enough to swim up and see the sky. You can go to the top of the water, but you must remember our family rules." Marina's best friend Splash was so happy. Splash was a gray dolphin with white spots. Splash made clicking sounds and jumped up and down with joy. They had both been waiting for this day for so long. Marina and Splash swam up and up through the blue water. They swam higher than they had ever swum before. Finally, Marina's head came out of the water for the very first time. The sky was pink and orange because the sun was going down. Soft waves moved Marina back and forth as she sat on a smooth gray rock. "Look, Splash," she said quietly. "The air smells so good. It smells like flowers and salt." White birds with long wings flew over their heads, making loud caw-caw sounds. Far away, Marina could see green hills and a big white castle sitting up high on tall rocks. Everything was prettier than she had ever dreamed. While Marina watched the pretty sunset, a really big ship came closer on the water. The ship had big white sails with gold stars painted on them. Colorful flags moved in the wind. Marina could hear music and people laughing on the ship. The ship came closer and closer to Marina's rock. "Marina, be careful," Splash said with worried clicking sounds. "We should hide before they see us." But Marina was too curious. She wanted to see the land people. Standing at the front of the ship was a young man with dark brown hair and nice eyes. He wore a blue shirt with shiny silver buttons. Marina could tell he was a prince because he had a gold crown on his head. The prince was having a party with the people on his ship. Marina had never seen land people look so happy before. The happy music from the ship made Marina want to sing too. Before she could stop herself, her magic voice started to make the most beautiful song anyone had ever heard. "La la 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 la," Marina sang. Her voice sounded like silver bells ringing across the water. She sang about dreams and adventures and how pretty both the land and sea could be. Everyone on the ship stopped what they were doing to listen. The prince walked to the side of the ship. He looked everywhere for the person with the beautiful voice. "What amazing singing," he said to the ship captain. "We must find the person who has such a pretty voice." Splash pulled on Marina's arm, but she could not stop singing. All of a sudden, big black clouds covered the sky. Lightning went flash, flash, flash across the dark clouds. The wind got stronger and stronger. It made huge waves that crashed into the ship. The sailors tried hard to keep their boat safe, but the storm was too strong. Marina watched with scared eyes as a giant wave knocked the prince right off the ship and into the rough water. "He cannot swim well in this storm," Marina cried out. "Splash, we have to help him." Marina and Splash jumped deep into the stormy water. Marina used her strong blue tail to swim through the big, dangerous waves. Splash helped guide them safely through the water. They reached the prince just when he was going under the water. Marina put her arms around the prince, who had his eyes closed. She swam as hard as she could toward the beach. Splash helped push them through the big waves. Finally, they reached a quiet beach with soft, white sand. Marina put the prince down gently on the warm sand. She moved his wet, dark hair away from his face. "Please wake up," she said softly. Her voice still had its special magic sound. The prince slowly opened his eyes. He saw Marina's kind face looking down at him. "You saved my life," he said in a weak voice. "Your voice is the most beautiful sound I have ever heard." Marina knew she should go back to the ocean, but something about the prince's nice eyes made her want to stay and talk with him. Marina and the prince talked on the beach until the stars came out in the dark sky. She told him about her underwater home. He told her stories about his big castle on the rocks. Marina had never felt so happy, but she knew she had to go home. When Marina got back to the Crystal Palace, King Neptune was very worried and upset. "You broke our most important rule," he said sadly. "You talked to a land person, and you used your magic voice near him. Now, he will look for you forever, because our voices put a spell on anyone who hears them." Marina tried to tell him that she only wanted to save the prince's life, but King Neptune was too scared for her safety. "You can never go to the top of the water again," he said firmly. For many days, Marina stayed in her room, feeling very sad. The prince waited on the beach every day when the sun went down. He hoped to see her again. Splash brought Marina news that the prince was not eating or sleeping because he missed her so much. Finally, Grandma Coral talked to King Neptune. "Sometimes love is more important than rules," she said wisely. Marina saved that young man's life. Now their hearts are connected. Maybe it is time for our two worlds to become friends. King Neptune thought about what his mother said. He realized she was right. He swam to the top of the water and met the prince on the beach. The king used his powerful magic to give Marina a special gift. Now she could breathe underwater and on land too. Marina and the prince got married in a beautiful wedding. People from the land and creatures from the sea both came to celebrate. They lived happily ever after. They visited both the underwater kingdom and the land castle. They showed everyone that love can bring different worlds together.